Dominik Szoboszlai will never live up to his price tag. He's been a part of Marseille's worst team for the Euros. What if we told you that this is all nonsense and that we are still yet to see the best of Szoboszlai? Arne Slots has confirmed that he'd be sticking with the 4-3-3 formation used by Klopp rather than reverting to the 4-2-3-1. But does this mean there will be no changes in player development on the pitch? Absolutely not, especially when it comes to the midfield trio. The three players in the midfield can form different shapes depending on the situation and game state. They can shift from a lone 6 to a double pivot or even to a dual number 10. And this brings us to our player for today's video, Dominik Szoboszlai. We'll explore how despite an impressive debut season, Szoboszlai still didn't reach his RB Leipzig level, especially when it comes to his offensive output. And of course, we're going to explore how a tweak in the system by Arne Slots might unlock the Hungarian's full potential. But before we do get into it, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Liverpool content. So we mentioned that Szoboszlai both impressed and fell short of his usual standards, which might seem contradictory. How can that even be possible? Well, let us explain. In the 2022-2023 season, Klopp's over-reliance and blind faith in players like Jordan Henderson and James Milner led to the collapse of Liverpool's midfield and pressing structure. The midfield trio showed clear signs of physical decline, a result of their age and many years spent playing Klopp's intense heavy metal style. This caused Liverpool's midfield to be bypassed frequently, leaving the front line without adequate cover during the press and exposing the back line as midfielders struggled to track runners. However, last season we saw a significant improvement in Liverpool's pressing structure, particularly when Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones were paired as the club's double eights ahead of Alexis McAllister and Wataru Endo. The pressing was more compact and effective. This is how Szoboszlai restructured Liverpool's pressing structure and brought Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool 2.0 to life. But how exactly did he achieve this? Well, let's dive into the details. Szoboszlai's work out of possession ranks amongst the best, despite missing 5 league games midway through the season and temporarily losing his starting position due to a dip in performances. He finished the campaign as the 26th Premier League midfielder for the most defensive duels per 90 minutes. Additionally, he was the third highest Liverpool player for blocking the ball, averaging 1.50 passes blocked per 90 minutes, showcasing his ability to close down passing lanes and interrupt play. Szoboszlai demonstrated a clear eagerness to be involved in his team's defensive shape, as shown in this plot chart. He engaged in more defensive duels per 90 minutes than other midfield powerhouses like Højbjerg, Joe Linton, Ynwa, and Souček. Szoboszlai has also demonstrated his ability to work hard and cover spaces. In his first 20 Premier League games, he led the Liverpool squad in total distance covered with 199.6 kilometers. Did Szoboszlai already have this trait when he joined the Reds? Absolutely. He has always been relentless in his style. However, this quality became even more pronounced and enhanced under Klopp's deployment. As the right-sided central midfielder, Szoboszlai was tasked with both joining the press and dropping back to cover ground. As a result, his dual percentage and defensive actions have significantly increased compared to his last season in the Bundesliga. The increased effort is clearly evident in his stats and overall contribution to the team's pressing structure. But what if we told you that this improvement in his defensive output is also why his offensive contribution decreased? Here you can see Szoboszlai's heat map from his last season with RB Leipzig. The Hungarian was often deployed as an attacking midfielder or a winger on both flanks, frequently tucking inside to create from central areas. However, if you examine his Liverpool heat map, you will notice that he was limited to mainly sticking to the right-hand side with much less presence in the middle of the park. So while playing as the right-sided central midfielder increased Szoboszlai's defensive contribution, it also denied him the opportunity to occupy the areas where he is most dangerous. Szoboszlai thrives when playing more centrally and drifting to the far left side, where he can be most threatening. Whether delivering a pinpoint in swinging corners or cutting inside to unleash powerful shots, Szoboszlai's optimal role involves this freedom, but being limited to the right-hand side wasn't the only reason as to why he struggled. There's only so much a player can handle physically. If you expend all your energy out of possession for most of the game, your on-the-ball abilities will inevitably be affected by exhaustion. With Szoboszlai consistently tasked with covering vast spaces and pressing intensely, it's affected his performances when he had received the ball. As a result, Szoboszlai's passing and ball carrying quality dropped during games, as he was often physically drained. The stats back this up, showing a decline in his creative numbers compared to his time with RB Leipzig. When it comes to taking on his markers and carrying the ball, Szoboszlai's numbers also decreased compared to his last season with Leipzig. The upper row shows his stats from his last Bundesliga campaign, highlighting how his attempted take-ons, carries, total carrying distance, and progressive carrying distance have all declined in his debut Premier League season. This video is sponsored by Copite Clothing. Copite Clothing is a Liverpool clothing site owned by match-going fans. Each design is limited edition and is perfect to wear on a match day, on the terraces at Anfield, down your local, or cozy in the comfort of your own home. As stated, each design is limited edition, and if a product is showing out of stock, they will not be restocking the item, so if you have your eye on something, grab it fast. Lastly, Copite Clothing wants fellow Reds to be 100% satisfied with their orders, so if there is a reason you're not happy, they will refund you with no questions asked. Head over to copiteclothing.com or down into the link in the description to get all of your Liverpool merchandise. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. Sure, there is a difference in the league levels, and the Bundesliga is known for having more open spaces. However, there is no doubt that the physical demands of the role Klopp assigned to Szoboszlai have contributed to the decrease in his carrying numbers. Not only that, but Szoboszlai's arguably most lethal trait, his shooting, has also declined. Last season, he had the worst shots on target percentage of his career, hitting just 25% compared to 48.3% in his final season in Germany. A player's shooting quality doesn't suddenly drop like that, which again highlights the impact of his assigned role on his technical abilities. Now, don't get us wrong, we're not saying that Szoboszlai has been flawless and has nothing to improve in his game. In fact, we believe the Hungarian must work on his first touch, as he often needs more than one to control the ball properly or set himself up for a shot. This gives defenders the advantage to push him off of the ball or block his attempts. So now that we've covered how Szoboszlai struggled to reach his usual standards, especially offensively, let's discuss how Arne Slots might help him explode next season. At the start of the video, we mentioned that a tweak in the system might get the best out of Szoboszlai, so let us explain. Slots already stated that he is going to use a 4-3-3 formation instead of a 4-2-3-1, which will probably look something like this. The change here is that Szoboszlai will be shifted to the left-sided central midfield position. Now, you're probably wondering what difference this would make. At Feyenoord, Slot deployed Matt Weifer, Quinten Timber, and Calvin Stengs as his midfield trio in a 4-3-3 formation. Using his staggered lines, which we explained in our latest video, Weifer acts as a deepest midfielder, Timber plays slightly higher, with the ability to drop deep and assist in the build-up play, and then Stengs stays high and central with the license to roam freely across the pitch. That's the role we envision for Szoboszlai, as you can see demonstrated on the screen. How would this improve Szoboszlai's offensive output, you say? Well, let us explain. When pressing opponents, Arne Slots' formation often shifts to a 4-4-2 with a number 10 at Feyenoord. This was Stengs, advancing forward to join the striker and form the initial pressing line. We already discussed Szoboszlai's intensity in the press. Using him as a part of the initial pressing line will definitely enhance the Reds' ability to press and counter-press high up the pitch. In this role, Szoboszlai will still need to drop back and cover spaces, but not as aggressively as he did in the number 8 position under Klopp. This is mainly due to the double pivot playing behind him and the two wingers dropping back to form a midfield 4. This will preserve his physical energy, resulting in improved abilities on the ball, or at least bringing back the creative and clinical aspects he displayed during his time at RB Leipzig. In fact, one of the strongest parts of Szoboszlai's game is his clinical nature. His finishing ability and attacking nous have already been evident at Anfield this season and have always been a big part of his game. He can dribble past players, carry the ball over large distances, and his shooting power is second to none. It's one of the reasons why Szoboszlai has been so integral to the Hungary national team, contributing 8 goals that helped his nation qualify for Euro 2024. By playing as the left-sided number 8 with the freedom to roam the final third, especially drifting to the left-hand side, Szoboszlai will be able to deliver those lethal crosses, combined with his teammates to slip through venomous passes, and receive on his stronger side when he cuts in to unleash his powerful shots. But that's not all. Szoboszlai's off-the-ball movement is also top-notch and can really help the team create chances by making runs between the lines to disrupt the opposition's backline. While Arne Slots is known for applying his strict positional play, meaning players often stick to their designated positions, that doesn't mean Szoboszlai can't have the ability to drift to the wide areas. Just like Stengs, who rotates with either Piaxo or Minter, Szoboszlai will have the freedom to rotate with the wingers, hold the width, help stretch the opposition's defensive structure, attack from wide areas, and combine on the flanks to penetrate the opposition's back line. It's safe to say that Szoboszlai was limited by the role he had last season, running for the majority of the game, while being tasked with pressing high up, covering back, and tracking runners affected his ability on the ball, limiting his threat and decreasing his traits of taking on markers and carrying the ball to his usual usual levels. However, flipping the system might work wonders for the Hungarian. By being deployed as the left-sided number 8, Szoboszlai can have the freedom to roam high up the pitch, where his attacking abilities shine the most, all while having his defensive tasks reduced. So what do you think? Will we see the same tenacious Szoboszlai up front with a more clinical edge thanks to this little tweak? Can Szoboszlai reach his RB Leipzig attacking levels and be a key player for Slots' forward line? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more Liverpool deep dives. Thank you, and we'll see you all next time. Take care. Shh.